Well, yeah, so today I got a new package from Project H Books. They're really a lot more generous to me than what I think they should be. But nonetheless, I'm glad I get a new package of books every month or so. It's very great, and I am very thankful for it, though I don't believe I'm fulfilling my part. So, as a little bit of a thank you and everything, I'm going to actually unbox it here in front of everyone today and pick one of the titles that's inside and do a review of it. Yay! So yeah, let's get this. I've got my sticky notes because Project H books are known to have nude photos on the front, so I have Project H sticky notes to censor whenever I show off the titles that's in the box. So yeah, let's do this. Let's just take this razor without cutting myself and having to go to the hospital and cut it wide open and throw the knife in the floor. Let's see what's inside. Here we are. It has paper. Obviously I'm opening it from the bottom because I don't want you to see my address. This one's safe to show. This one is not. So I'm going to have to censor this one right quick. I might have to use 2 sticky notes on this one actually. It's kind of nude. So yeah, let's try to make this as fast as possible. That way I can get on with the review. That one is fine as well. Let's see about this one. This one is fine as well. And the last one, it needs censored pretty badly. Alright. I might ought to use 2 sticky notes just in case. Alright. So, here we are. We got 5 new books from Project H. This is very exciting. I actually don't know anything about any of them. I haven't read any of them online, so I can't choose one that I've already read. But, let's see here. First we have Disciplinary, which is pretty cool. We have Splash to Love Volume 2. I do not have Volume 1, so definitely cannot review that one. How to Get Dumped in Style. That one sounds like it might actually be pretty good. That one might be it. Nurse's Sweet Naked Truth. Might go with this one. It's an uncensored title. And lastly, we have Teach Me a Lesson by Hiroshi Itaba, which they publish a lot of his works. Let's see here. I'm going to go with How to Get Dumped in Style. So let's open this and do a review of it. How to Get Dumped in Style by Kubakuruin is an anthology manga. Though on the inside it says chapters 1 through 10, it's actually 9 different one-shot stories, with mostly completely different plots for each one, as I'll explain shortly. The title, How to Get Dumped in Style, doesn't exactly fit the stories in this book, as most are lighthearted and don't involve much cheating or breaking up. Though I guess the title comes from chapter 5, which happens to have the same name as the title. Well, that's enough of an intro. Let's get on with the story review, or in this case, a brief summary of each chapter. As I said, there's 9 different stories in the 10 chapters of this book, and each story told is quite different from chapter to chapter. There's a lot of variety, though for the most part the feel of each chapter is kind of the same. Though this isn't a bad thing by any means, since it's executed perfectly in each chapter. So let's take it from the top with chapter 1, Master by Contract. This one is probably my least favorite in the book, as it doesn't leave you as fulfilled as the rest of the stories. Also, since it has 2 male leads through most of the story, you can expect to lose some emotional development. And one of the males is a real dick. So here's a quick overview of this one. Takuma and Shuji become masters of their dead uncle's estate by contract, and also become the master of Yui, which worked under their dead uncle. By the end of the contract, one of them will be the sole heir to the inheritance. Now this leads Shuji to being a dick and making Yui do various things throughout the story. Now I was fine with all of this until the ending, where we learn that Yui and Takuma was childhood friends. Takuma pisses me off in the fact that he didn't do anything to stop Shuji from doing things to his childhood friend. Other than that, I enjoyed the story. The second story, Older Woman, Younger Man, is just that. A younger man has a crush on an older woman, though she doesn't know this until the end of the chapter, as the younger boy's older sister is friends with the older woman and asks her to go on a date with her younger brother, so there you go. I really enjoyed this one. Next, Green-Eyed Girl, another very good one, about a stepbrother and sister showing their true feelings for one another. Periwinkle Promise, a story in short about a guy who can't get it up, and a childhood friend who helps him to get it up. Yu is dumped after going on a date with a girl he likes after he couldn't get it up in bed. After his childhood friend Asumi learns this, she takes it upon herself to check it out. Now this story has a very heartfelt moment behind it all. I'm not going to go any further, just trust me. You'll have butterflies after reading this one. Now on to How to Get Dumped in Style. For the book being named after this one, it sure isn't the best one in the book. Though still not bad, it's definitely not the best. It's about Kazuma, who wants to break up with his girlfriend Minowa, who happens to be like the cutest girl around, according to the characters in the story. Reason being, he doesn't feel like he's manly or mature enough for her. Though by the end of the story, Minowa convinces him that he is indeed more than mature. Whisper to Me is about an aspiring voice actress, Yuki, and her boyfriend Naoyuki. The whole reason they're together is because Naoyuki is in love with the character Yuki voiced called Stella. This leads to him calling his girlfriend Stella in bed, which upsets her as she believes he only loves her for her voice. Though by the end of the story, Naoyuki ends up falling in love with Yuki and not just her voice. This one was a little tame on the feelings compared to some chapters, but still gives you enough and leaves you fulfilled. Now on to my favorite story in the book, which happens to be the only 2-chapter story in the book as well, and that is The Noisy Neighbor. It starts with No coming home and seeing a woman listening in on his neighbor's door. Sayako's actually a married woman spying on her cheating husband and trying to get evidence for her divorce. So she decides to spy from Noah's room since he's next door. Now believe me, I really want to go into a full rant on this story and why it's so good, but this one is definitely one you need to read firsthand to fully enjoy. Just trust me on this one story. If you don't believe anything else in this review, believe me here. It's a fucking great story, with an excellent ending. There is no shortage of feels in this one, so give it a shot. Now on to the next story. I Pledge Myself to You. Just look at that cover. Remind you of anything? Anyway, what can I say about this one? Well, it's full of good comedy and you will probably laugh at least once with this one. Other than that, there's only 2 pages of sex. So don't expect to beat it, or if you're a girl, finger it to this one. It's still very good. Just saying, you won't be aroused by it. And now the last story, The Schedule. Mana, and no, that's not a Magic the Gathering joke, works a rigorous schedule. Wait. Rigorous. I'm sorry, this is something I've never commented on. But there's like typos in every Project H book I've read. But it's not uncommon at all. I can't count the number of typos I've found in Case Closed or various other Viz Media titles. Believe me, there's no publisher of manga without typos. I've seen them everywhere. Anyway, Mana has a rigorous schedule, though she brings it on herself as she's working to save for something, though Kenji, her boyfriend, doesn't know what, until he looks through her cell phone, where she's planning for a wedding. Naturally, jumping to the conclusion he assumes she's cheating on him, though in the end he realizes it's their wedding she's saving for. But expect some laughs with this one, and that covers all the stories in this book. The art in this one is simply exquisite. It's so pleasing on the eyes. Kubokuren has a style unlike most other Project H titles. A large majority of artists that Project H publishes has a similar feel to their styles, or a flow and general likeliness of styles. But Kubokuren blows all that away. It kinda has an older style, newer style feel. You know how a bunch of older hentai and manga from the 60s and 70s had very different styles. Then in the 80s or so, a lot of styles seemed kinda similar and less refined, like for real. They had that whole rock band look with how hair was drawn and stuff. Then with the 90s you had a kind of renewal, where things looked different again. And now in modern day, things are beginning to look a lot alike, especially shonen manga. Anyway, that's a whole other rant in itself. Back to Kubokuren. His style is absolutely breathtaking to look at. Of course this is one of those preference things, but I find everything from eyes and hair to body and physique to be wonderful. Even the backgrounds, word bubbles, and screen tones complement each other. Everything about his manga works in unison and flows beautifully. Absolutely adore his art. The females aren't overproportioned and still incredibly hot and pleasing to the eyes. The facial expressions, proportions, and body movements and positions are flawless to my taste. So as you can tell, I can't sing enough praise for his art. If you like series like Excel Saga or Eyes, I'm sure you'll love Kubokuren's style. Well, here we are, the final countdown to this review. It's been a long one, and I've enjoyed it. But let's take a quick overview of the book. All of the stories, for the most part, are great. I have almost no complaints with the stories. Now this book has whiteout or fully censored scenes, so no genitals. Now I'm going to give you a little analogy for the stories in this book. Think of them as a piece of cake. Sweet, soft, mouth-watering, and fulfilling. Now think of the sex scenes as a little bit of icing on the cake. It makes it better and complements the cake itself. Now some cakes have too much icing and actually make you sick and hate the cake. As it overpowers the taste of the cake, there's a lot of hentai out there with too much icing. I call them beat 'em hentai, because that's all they're good for, is beating it to 'em. But How to Get Dumped in Style is an almost perfectly balanced piece of cake with some frosting. You could even say if it didn't have any icing at all, it'd be just as good. Like if the hentai didn't have any sex scenes at all and was just a bunch of one-shot manga, it'd still be great and fun to read. Though that little bit of icing is good and all, it'd still be just as good without it. So what I'm saying, it's a great anthology with great stories, perfect art complementing said stories. All bundled together in a neat little package with the sex scenes being a little bow on top. So just like with my Colorful Harvest review, the beater score in this one is low, with about a 3 out of 10 as a masturbating tool. However, as a great read and experience, it's nearly perfect, with 9 out of 10. Because that's what this book is, an experience. An adventure of stories leaving you with a sense of excitement to see what Kubakuran might think of next. So until next time, enjoy life.